So you know about Steam, right? It's a marketplace for games of all kinds where you can find a community, create discussion, or if you're feeling fancy enough, create a review. But what if making a not-so-serious review resulted in legal threats and doxing towards anyone who agreed with you? Well, that's what I stumbled across a while back when I was looking through my discovery queue and found the game Don't Scream. You see, I love horror games, one of my favorites being Cooking Companions, but while I was looking to expand my horror palette, this came up. From my understanding, the game is an Unreal Engine game filled with jump scares that detects sound from your microphones so that if you scream, you die and have to restart. The challenge is to get to the end, which many YouTubers have tried their hand at. Now with this, I'm sure you can understand that this game requires a microphone, and with this being an early access indie game, the game may make some mistakes in interpreting what is and isn't a scream. On October 27th, 2023, a positive review was posted onto Steam about the game. Now as I'm sure you may have noticed, I've redacted all of the names I could as to avoid any accidental harassment. Obviously don't harass or seek out anyone involved, but to ensure that things aren't confusing regarding who's talking, I've elected to give everyone a new username and icon. Obviously these names are fake, just so nobody gets sought out, especially because of some of the more sensitive information that got leaked during this whole situation. Anywho, the review was posted by OP, represented by this red rabbit.
Recommended. 10 minutes in, creepy vibes, no scares. Game ended because I farted and my mic detected that.
The developer replied,
It took us a lot of effort to implement such a feature. Different types of farts had to be calibrated. But thank you for the review. Follow me on Twitter for more in-depth fart calibration tutorials.
The reviewer was happy, the developer was happy, and all was well. But that was until the Gravyman attacked.
Useless anti-review, but the response from the developer made it worth the time to read it and vote it down for being unhelpful in making a decision of whether to purchase.
Many people made fun of this review with sarcastic comments. However, things escalated when an impersonator arrived into the mix.
I changed my mind. I just saw this review was helpful for 921 users, so this is not an anti-review. I apologize. I got jealous that you got attention from the developer.
You tell him, Gravyman. Show him who's the true gamer.
Gravyman clapped back.
The account that is impersonating me in comments on this anti-review has been reported for impersonation and blocked. How did you think you were going to get away with this with different online statuses between visible comments? I stand by my statement and would not have left another response if not for the impersonation that has been escalated to Steam management.
This review gave me a personality disorder. I realized I just reported my own account. I will now seek professional help.
Try writing a review rather than trying to be funny, and you'll have a better social rating. It's poor excuses of reviews like this that have destroyed any functional use of the review system on Steam. If I'm a lamer because I'm killing your fun, I'll accept that statement because it's come from somebody who doesn't understand what a review is and probably still lives with their parents. Therefore, your opinion doesn't matter to me. Directed at the impersonator, I'm also adding your account to my Steam troll blacklist on my personal site. Form a display name of current Steam level of and profile ID. Screenshots of comments have been backed up and will be published as evidence. Link to your profile by number rather than short name, so it will always go to your profile regardless of how many times you change the short name. Anybody who mouses over the name on a comment can easily see it's a different account, as if being 70 Steam levels lower wasn't enough of an indicator.
The lore is getting deeper in this comment section.
Gravyman then proceeded to @TheDev.
At DevyMcDevface, it's reviews like this that destroy any positive functionality that Steam could have had. One of the reasons I find myself looking at reviews of games on other sites, since there is a lack of any helpful reviews on Steam itself. Once in a while, those that have the same issues blow up at the issue. Not just myself, I've seen others do it as well. It wouldn't be the first time I've left a comment claiming the review was not helpful in making a purchasing decision on a game. This review definitely won't play a factor in purchasing your game. Too many people just find reviews as an opportunity to buy funny, and there's only a small fraction of Steam users that actually understand what a review is. In addition to writing a helpful one, All my reviews are moved to my personal site after numerous attacks from these same toxic Steam users.
Now, you may be wondering about that personal site he's bringing up, and we'll get to that when it becomes more relevant, but this comment, nicknamed Skullium Shakespeare, summed up my thoughts rather nicely.
Comment section be wild! Okay, sure, this isn't a professional review with a critical analysis of the game's merits, but it shows that it was enjoyed for what it was. This game is a self-described jump-scared simulator. I don't know what kind of review you expect. And the keyboard warriors impersonating another user? Find something better to do than be a troll under the smallest bridge you could squeeze beneath.
And so Gravyman returns in response to this 6-word comment.
Look for reviews elsewhere then. LOL!
Honestly, it could have been left and one comment and that would have been it, but trolls run thick on Steam. It's an issue I have personally written reviews about on other sites, not limited just to the toxic community, but also tag defacement and other functions that are too open for abuse to be usable without a massive overhaul and tightened up moderation of these functions. They decided to cluster one, even impersonating my account to make false replies, trying to imply I was backtracking on the first comment, which only exasperated the situation, leading to what you see in the comments now. Or just block everybody who writes a useless review to hide all their reviews from sight from that point forward. Unfortunately, I doubt Steam's block list is limitless and would run out in less than a few hours if I was going to take that route.
Maybe the real reviews are the friends we made along the way. Except for that gravy whatever dude.
Holy shit, Gravyman. Honestly, go touch some grass.
You embarrass yourselves through your own actions. The only embarrassment you get from me is when I make it a point to point out your poor behavior, particularly through an online publication. You don't want to be embarrassed anymore? Grow up and act like a mature human being. I may not be responding to this thread much anymore, but I'm still monitoring it, if only to put additional blocks in place and reports when necessary. Additionally, their Twitch accounts was banned from my Twitch channel when I noticed it in my IRC logs. Yes, I'm aware of all who join my channel looking for more trolling opportunities. Even if I am not personally in the channel at the time, my IRC client continues logging people that join it. You are proving your ignorance in spades. Look at the name change history, and it's clear who the impersonator is.
Tongs is gonna be important later on, but for now they're right.
If you get blocked, you'll miss on his amazing giveaways on his super popular Twitch channel that almost passes single-digit views. Pout.
Hoff responds as well. I won't have the whole thing read, but here's what's important to hear.
Grow up and act like a mature human being? My guy, have you looked in the mirror? You're acting as if everyone around you is wrong and the only person who's right is you. I've seen some mentally deranged people on the internet before, but holy fuck, you take it to the next level. P.S. Thanks for the block, smiley face.
Under that type of reasoning, I could say you trolls are an embarrassment to human life. Don't make comments that could be cross-examined and used against you on a wider spectrum. Oh, and don't waste your time. Your Twitch account has already been banned from the channel. You guys want me to move on from this anti-review? Yet you continue to keep making the discussion about me. I won't be moving on until you change the subject to that of what this review is talking about. Each continuation of trolling directed at me extends the time that comments will continue to be monitored to continue putting blocks and reports in place. Trolling tactics don't work against me. It just gives me more material to publish about the toxicity of the Steam community.
To think this all started with my farts. LOL.
Okay, so update. Now the user that I shall not name is literally threatening to sue Steam and report Steam to the police. XD from the profile comments.
A cease and desist order is now being discussed with a lawyer to be issued against Steam for lack of action against the continued harassment. At this point, I am seeking to have my lawyers contact them with a cease and desist order for inaction to stop the continued harassment, followed by a lawsuit and police reports being filed if they do not take action in response to the cease and desist order.
We also get our first message from another semi-important party, SIP. Well, a little more than first.
Bro, seriously? You're 40-fucking-5. You can't use any of that old man wisdom to see when always right you is just simply being an asshole. This brings me to my next point. Self-awareness. You, sir, are less self-aware than an amoeba. Want an example? Go back to page 2. You go on your whole self-righteous white knight crusade about telling people just how embarrassing they are. That right there couldn't possibly be any more ironic than it already is. And, as all good papers, I have a third reason. Let's talk about that website, shall we? Where to begin? People reviews. Let's get it started. Nothing screams, I see my fellow people as lesser and as an object more than reviewing them as if they were mere products to buy off the shelves. Can you see the point I'm trying to make yet? You are as low as they come. But hey, I really wouldn't put it past someone who seems to have forgotten that the internet has grown up. Also, you show proudly all the people that you've blocked. All of these with reasons and evidence. Oh boy howdy, do I see someone that's deeply insecure and scared of the big bad internet boogeyman. The people on the internet are just that. People. You're sitting so high on your moral high horse that you're depriving your brain of oxygen. You are the one embarrassing yourself by being a shit-thrashed dickbag. Can you not see that everyone else is against you? You have no one to blame but yourself. Notice that you are the reason for all of this, and it is you that needs to change. When I read your comments for the first time, I thought someone was trying to write a neurotic narcissist that clearly doesn't wash his ass or under his accordion-like neck folds. My points? You seem like someone was trying to hand-make someone that is meant to be hated. I feel like I have to explain this to you, because guess what? You're not as smart as you think you are. And yes, I will be looking at my name on your website proudly. Think of it as an Internet Hall of Fame. Sure, you're gonna get that one every once in a while that really gets on your nerves, but when it's 60 fucking people, 16 of which are in this comment section, it really puts into perspective how fragile of a person you are. That is, rounding up, 4 people a year. They're most likely because they didn't agree with everything that you're saying. That just proves that you would rather live in an echo chamber than produce a single iota of thought. Don't think I've forgotten about the IP section. Oh lord, where do I start? How microbrain and molecular dick do you have to be to think that posting IP addresses on a public website would be a good idea? This again brings up the absolute disregard you have for any other life that isn't your own. Gravy, I know you're listening. Please, for the love of everyone and everything, do a lot of self-reflection.
Update, the unhinged individual is now violating Steam rules by threatening to dox users for visiting their site because he thinks anyone who goes to their site wants to hack it.
I expect I will be placing some more IP bans and listing more IPs in the hacking IP blacklist.
Here's the Steam rules, and here's the rule in question. Violate other personal rights. Examples of such prohibited behavior include doxing. So now it's abundantly clear that they need to be reported to Steam ASAP before they start violating our personal rights and giving us grounds to prosecute them for being unlawful. I reported them for phishing, even though it's not technically phishing, it's the closest category. Here's what ChatGPT had to say. While the situation you describe may not fit the traditional definition of phishing, it is still a harmful and malicious activity that should be reported. In your case, reporting the Steam account under the category attempted phishing may not be entirely accurate, but it is a reasonable way to report this behavior, as it is a violation of Steam's Terms of Service and Community Guidelines.
I have already placed a few more bans on attempted hackings and added a few more IP addresses to the hacking IP block list. If you are still able to access the site, your IP address was not listed. Additional bans have not been placed to prevent further doxing yet. However, that may happen in the near future. But again, I point out that bans of IPs for abusive reasons rather than hacking or theft reasons do not have their IP addresses published publicly. I have kept copies of these logs for years since starting the site, however, so I can always go back to them if necessary. I'm already considering placing additional bans for using my site in your doxing attacks against me. However, this would not have your IPs publicly listed. I may, however, forward those IPs to law enforcement if this continues to escalate into a criminal case, which I'm certain has already exceeded that point. My lawyers are already looking at the facts and making a determination as to whether we have enough to file an official complaint with law enforcement.
Wow, bro called the cops over a Steam review.
Yeah, anyways, I think my favorite spots in the map that give me creepy vibes are the mini-store, and the farm where there's a space guy. Astronauts are cool. Floating at zero gravity must feel cool.
I'm so sorry, OP, that this guy wants to sue your whole review, XD. That's what you get for having a sense of humor, I guess. Fun fact, the report I filed includes quotes verbatim copy-pasted, as well as links to their exact locations so that moderators can view them and come to their own conclusions. Thus, to call it misinformation is by the literal definition of the word delusional. Hope this helps.
Nah, it's okay. It's just a review with a fart on it. It's interesting how something so simple can escalate to this. I don't mind. It's the internet, so everything can happen. I also want to say thank you everyone for the rewards on the review. It's a fun review, but that literally happened in my first 10 minutes playing the game. Highly recommend having your friends or your mama playing it to see reactions. If this continues, I will keep reading, and eventually comment something not related to the matter, cause it's fun. Okay, bye.
Let me clear up something for you, Tongs! The cease and desist order that I've been discussing with my lawyers, well, yes, it would be issued to Steam, is not a lawsuit against Steam. This would be a warning that they need to start stepping in on the continued harassment that has been happening in this thread. If they don't, when they have been issued that legal documentation of intent, then it either becomes a criminal case that authorities become involved and Steam could be fined, or the alternative, which is along the lines of a monetary lawsuit against Steam for inaction to protect their users against the reported harassment. Whew. Long story short, no lawsuit has been filed yet. This is still just being discussed as a legal action if things continue to get worse.
TongsBlu then creates a summary for those who just tuned in, which Gravyman then responds to.
The report that Tongs had filed includes misinformation that allows me to seek a slander case for damages are incurred as a result of that report. So, the screenshots I have taken as evidence for the Steam Troll blacklist will be the same ones that get provided to my lawyers for a lawsuit if they are successful in causing damages under the fraudulent information included in said report.
In reference to the
I'm already considering placing additional bans for using my site in your toxic attacks against me
comment a while ago, this is what Tongs had to say.
Fun fact, I can't dox what is already public information that you willingly publish on your own public site, that you publicly advertise on your public profile, and repeatedly reference to your public comments on a public review. Doxing specifically refers to private information that is not readily available to the public, like a user's IP address. To suggest otherwise is to refute facts and clear definitions of what the word even means, and maybe another sign of delusion. Hope this helps.
IP bans were only placed on recent access. I'm intending on going through logs at more that were accessing the pages discussed in this thread since the 28th. Considering you just accessed the site again, your IP address probably shows in the recent logs now. As said, new bans will be placed as necessary. Basically looking at the logs every time new harassment is published in a new comment here.
Well, feel free to try it. Prove it works and that it is not just another empty threat. If you personally believe me to be a troll, why aren't I banned? That's not really fair. Doesn't look like you have taken any steps you said you would, because I can still access your site.
Can you? So far you've proven you can't. So I did what was necessary, since Steam is still ignoring the issue.
Maybe you don't know how to IP ban, or you banned the wrong ones. I'm still able to access it.
I don't believe you! I have roughly 7 IP ranges returning 403 HTML responses in less than an hour of placing the bans. That happens when your IP address is banned. More will be placed as necessary.
10 minutes in, can still access site. Haven't even changed IP. Game ended because I'm getting bored and Gravy doesn't seem capable of accomplishing anything apart from getting cross at a fart. 10 out of 10. Banning random innocent people while failing to ban the user you believe to be trolls. Nice job!
In all likelihood, people are getting banned that don't deserve it, particularly with range bans. This is why there's an appeal method available. Banning people that don't deserve it is a risk I'm willing to take with the mass harassment I have received from this thread of responses every day over the past 6 days. Now going into the 7th if it continues today. If you are actually able to access the site, you might be finding other proxies or VPNs to use after the prior one was banned. A simple IP range includes 256 IPs. A large IP range includes 65,000 IPs. It's expected that people in your same IP range are likely getting banned from the site as a result of your actions.
A little funny that he ended up unblocking me. Wonder what that could be for. Probably to give me the ability to lurk.
And so that's where the situation essentially ended. At the very least, there's no other crazy or noteworthy comments from here on out, and Gravy stops responding at this point. However, remember that whole IP website people kept mentioning? Well, that was real. He has an actual website with dozens upon hundreds of IPs that he's banned and then leaked on his website. Not just that either. As Sip mentioned, he has people reviews, which are about his neighbors. He leaks their addresses and makes genuinely slanderous claims, like that all of his roommates are drug addicts and take meth and spice, apparently. I won't go into detail about anything that can be reverse searched, as with all these IPs and real addresses on his site, I don't want any innocent people being hunted down over, again, a silly Steam review about farts. However, I will share some particularly hilarious quotes from the Boycotts section of his website. Regarding Black Shell Games, an indie studio as well as the creators of Sanctuary RPG,
this is a dishonest developer that deserves to have his company die. I decided it was time to move that review to my personal site and make it blatantly clear just what kind of dishonest filth they are.
With Blizzard, his account was apparently hacked from a free Epic mount scam. After getting the account back, he was unable to get unbanned.
While I was working for a third-party gaming company, they favored Blizzard, and seeing as I was the head of game support, I was forced to have World of Warcraft on my PC to make sure it worked, which literally made me yell. So at this point, any gift towards getting back what was stolen from me when Blizzard decided to take the re-victimization approach would likely be rejected. So this is likely a boycott that will never end, even if a friend were to attempt to get me back into the game by purchasing the core game and expansion packs that were stolen from me when the account was banned over a cyber criminal's actions.
For Bungie, this is regarding a recommendation that he made to the forums that despite Destiny being a console exclusive, it should have keyboard and mouse support for PC gamers.
The fact that Bungie chose to ignore the request since the beta means I'm done purchasing from them also. Also, the fact that Bungie allowed human filth to troll pile my threads doesn't help the issue either. Destiny is dead to me, and so is Bungie. Whether this boycott sheds some light on the business practices of the company or not, you be the judge and join me if you see the light.
This one is against EA, which, good on him, right? But I'll let him explain his reason for boycotting.
I made this decision when Action Replay made the decision to pull the uncensor codes for the Sims games. I was tempted to boycott Action Replay in this case also, but I decided to boycott the Sims games instead, letting the makers of the game know that was the reason why I was doing it. Anyways, this is my boycott. I will not buy any The Sims games for console systems ever again. I will not even play the games that I have now, looking for somebody to sell them to, as I get a migraine even attempting to play them.
TLDR, he's boycotting EA because you can't make The Sims nude anymore without mods. That's about all I can show without risking people's security or showing something that isn't harmful. However, while finishing scripting this, seeing as I made sure to cite the website verbatim, I got this message. URL is not valid or is restricted. Warning, please note that all activity on this site is logged. Hacking attempts will warrant IP/domain ban. Multiple hacking attempts from different IP address in the same IP range or domain name can result in a ranged ban. If this was any other person's site, this wouldn't really concern me, but given some of his earlier comments, I hope he doesn't count this as a hacking. I just pressed one of the links on his website, which earlier he claimed that mentioning stuff from his website was considered doxing, apparently. He also has this worrying message. For legitimate users of this site, we are regretfully going to have to warn you that any use of this site until this matter is resolved could result in your IP address also being banned from it. So we have to recommend that viewers of this site without nefarious intentions limit their use to avoid getting included in those IP bans, no more than a couple pages a day. So basically he has my IP address now, so here's to hoping he doesn't come across this video for a while. Anywho, that was Gravyman Saga. As I said at the start of the video, all names and icons seen have been changed to ensure that people don't find and harass anybody, and also so they don't find that website because that's a lot of doxing and I don't want innocent people getting hurt in the crossfires. A huge shout out to all of the voice actors from Cast and Call Club that worked with me and voiced all the different people in the story. The usernames are on screen now, as well as in the description, and thanks again for all of your support, as of recording, I'm still being reviewed for monetization, so soon I might be able to get paid just for making videos like these. I'm thinking about live streaming Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 when it comes out, but until then, thank you for watching, like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you around again. Peace!